Let's like, we're going to talk a little bit about we'll do some business updates.
So we didn't plan for this, but I feel like it's great. I'm feeling this.
Yeah, like, well, because Kelly and I have been dating a little bit more lately. And by
we, oh, you.
Okay, but you've had your own experiences, like single experiences.
I'm honestly living the true independent girl lifestyle right now.
But what I mean, and yes, but also just like I think something that's come up a lot, and even just through conversations with our friends, is being confident, like having the boldness. I don't know if that's the right way to explain it. Like hitting on a guy, sliding into his DMs, asking for his number.
I have slid into a couple DMs.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So this is, I feel like something.
With no response.
So I'm, I pride myself on, I will give my number to someone if
You're very much a go-getter in the dating world.
Yeah, which honestly though can also backfire. Like I think I really struggle with the like feminine masculine energy. Like I want to attract someone who's super masculine, but I'm very masculine in that sense, in the sense that I'm like, I am very,
you're very forward
and I'm very bold and blunt, and like those are stereotypically masculine, like that's a masculine energy. So I tend to attract feminine men. And so I'm not saying it's always great, but what I will say is that it has given me a lot of skills and a lot of I've learned to like self-validate that if I shoot my shot and I don't get a response, it's not personal. Like it has nothing to do with me. It has no effect on my life. Like, yeah, it might hurt. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not like, oh, pain in my chest, like that sucks. But at the same time, like the amount of times that I have hit on a guy and asked for his phone number, or been like, are you gonna ask for my phone number? Like, classic. But the amount of times that it has worked in my favor versus not, very, like, the ratio is in my favor.
Yeah.
And so, we've just been talking a lot about it, and I feel like we have a lot of, it just has seemed, like, it has come up a lot with friends where they're like, I don't know, like, should I say something? Should I not say something?
In my friends, it's Paige talking to me.
No, it's come up with other people, and I'm just...
It is true, though. I learn a lot from you to be more... I'm very laid back in my dating style. Like, very.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, like, I've always been chosen by someone, and then I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're cute, we do things together, sure. So now I'm learning to be more assertive and be more selective, and that's hard. It is hard when, like, because especially the times that I have been in relationships, I've always been in school where you're just surrounded by people your own age and, like, always going out. It's way easier to meet someone when you're in school or in some sort of, what's it called, like institution or organization where you're like surrounded by people all the time. But when you're just out in the adult world,
out in the wild
working, you don't go to bars nearly as much. You're not doing as many things.
Coming from the girl, we went out last weekend, we went out the weekend before, we went out the weekend before.
But with like our friend group, where like in school you're surrounded by all these people.
I know what you're saying. Like you're constantly at like a frat party or in class, and it's like always you have an opportunity to like establish a friendship with someone, and you're going to see them again, as opposed to nowadays, like out in the wild, you're like, this could be my only opportunity to ask this person out.
Like if you think a guy is cute, that is the time to do it, because how do you know if you're ever going to see them again?
Yeah.
You know? Like, and that's hard. That is hard. Really, and like you have mastered that, because I feel like it's just you being as extroverted as you are, much more ingrained in your personality compared to me, where I'm like, if I see a cute guy at a table, I'll just avoid the table at all costs.
So we both work at breweries part-time, and I've gotten a couple dates out of working there. Kelly's like...
I always get hit on by like 60-year-olds.
Kelly's like, how do you get all these dates out of work? And I'm like, because I actually go talk to the table.
Yeah.
But I think... No,
if I see a cute guy, I'm like, oh god, I gotta go to the table. I like put their beers on, I'm like, here's your blood. And then I just like literally tell the other beer runner to go to the table the rest of the night. I know. I that's not even a joke. I literally do that.
I know it's not a joke.
Yeah, it's not like that's truly, and I need to stop. Like I've tried. I did it better yesterday. There's a table of guys that I was serving, but I was still really awkward, and I was just like, they're like, "What's your name?" I was like, Michelle. I didn't like Michelle. Why would you give it? I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
I was like, why would you give him a fake name?
Michelle, why? Never go. They're asking for Michelle.
I think
Who's Michelle?
it is like I totally get it. Even for someone, obviously I think my personality, my extroversion helps a lot in that sense, but I also don't want to take away from the fact that it does make me really nervous too. Like I still get nervous when I go to like ask a guy for his number or go to hit on him or whatever else, because I'm like, I don't know his situation. I don't know if he's in a relationship. I don't know his life. And like, but I always just think like, one, it's super flat. Like for most people, like there's always going to be an asshole. There's always going to be someone who's rude about it. And like, honestly, that's on them. Like that has nothing to do with you or who you are, the situation. Like obviously, yeah, if he's wearing a ring on his finger, don't go give him your number. Like if he's there, if he's with another girl, like don't go give him your number. Like unless she comes up to you and is like, hey, my best friend would like love to give you his number, fine, whatever. But like other than that, the worst that he could say is like, sorry, I'm in a relationship. Oh, I'm not interested. Like you're not my type. And all of those things are super valid but it has, I think that's just what I can't stress enough is realizing and understanding and really internalizing that it has nothing to do with you. It's not personal.
Yeah.
And so even if someone says like, oh, I'm in a relationship, like, sorry, you're like, okay. But they're probably flattered. Like you probably just made their day. They're like, hey, I still got it. Like I'm getting hit on.
Yeah.
But for you, it's practice. It's practice for the time that it does work. Like, you know, and I the more that you do it, the easier it gets. The more times you get rejected, the easier it gets. But it's usually not as bad as you ever think it's gonna be.
I know, that's so true. I seriously repeat that to myself all the time, or other people I work with will want to hit on someone, and I'm like, that person's going to be flattered. Like,
yeah,
even if you mess up and it comes off like way weird or something, like no matter how weird the interaction is, like if someone hit on me and it was just weird, there's still a part of me that was like, you know what, they came up to me,
yeah,
and they shot their shot, and like they picked me out of the people in here,
yeah,
like I'm flattered.
And I think people, there's obviously, I don't want to, just like sugarcoat it and glaze over the fact that a lot of people have insecurities, and there's a lot of things, I go through it. I'm a very confident person, but even when I see a really hot guy, I'm like, I might not be his type. Like maybe he doesn't like, I start to kind of like pick apart myself, that I'm like, oh, maybe like my thighs are a little too chunky for him, or like my lips are too small, or whatever else. You like a little kissy. But like whenever I find myself doing that, I take a step back and I just remind myself of all the reasons that I love myself, that I'm awesome, and that I feel like that could be a whole other episode. Like that comes with time and doing mirror exercises and like really learning to love yourself for everything that you are, not just who you want to be or the person you portray. Like even loving the stuff about myself that the stuff about myself that can be not toxic, but like that needs work. There are parts of me that still need work, that need healing, and even those parts I've learned to love myself and understand that makes me who I am and helps me be the charismatic, energetic, amazing person that I am. And so hell yeah, brother. So reminding myself of all of those things, I'm like, I think I'm freaking awesome. And if roles were reversed, if I was a dude and someone like me walked up, I'd be like, that chick's really freaking cool. And most guys just appreciate a lady being forward. shoot your shot, baby. What do you have to lose?
Shoot your shot.
What do you have to lose? Some guy's gonna text his friends and be like, oh my gosh, this girl gave me your number. His friends are gonna be like,
F you, man.
okay, what can I have it? Like, what does she look like? Like, I don't know. I don't see very many downsides.
And I also think too, it's going back to like the energy you're putting out. It doesn't always have to be so focused on you putting out like I'm trying to date, I'm trying to go home with someone energy. Like, just be you. Like, just do what you do at the bar, and whoever you're going to attract is probably rocking that similar vibe. Like, if you're not into dancing at bars, you're like, I like to hang out in the corner and observe and sip on my cocktail. There's likely also someone else who's doing that.
Yeah.
And if you are like, I love to bust a move, and like, I even get nervous. I love to bust a move, but I'm not like the best dancer. But I'm just out there like doing my thing.
Have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not out there like I don't have like cool moves.
We're not like,
I'm more like
in White Chicks when they have their synchronized like dance routine.
I just feel like I see some girls that are like so sexy, and I'm just like, I mean, I feel like shake a booty.
Unless they hit us with some Cotton Eye Joe, and we get to throw down on the Cotton Eye Joe.
That is my vibe on dancing. Dude, I love to stomp a boot. Like, I love a good stomping of the boot.
When we were at the Biltwell, I don't know if we filmed since the Biltwell. No. So we went to Biltwell 100 a couple weeks ago, and Saturday night there was one of the like campgrounds had karaoke, and Kelly and I were like, you know what, we're gonna send it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We did Shania Twain karaoke.
Yep.
Phenomenal. I would like to say we definitely got the part. We were the first females to sing from what we saw.
Per usual.
From what we saw. I guess I can't say that because I think they had been doing karaoke prior to us getting there, but there was definitely an aura of uncomfortableness. Like, people were not jumping to get up there and sing. And I feel like the second that we did our karaoke, like, people were like more inclined to get up there, and like groups of girls.
That girl came up and pulled us back up.
Yeah, so this group of girls were gonna go up, and then her friends all ditched her, and she was singing Smash Mouth, and we were like, we can't let this homie like.
We can't abandon a soldier.
We can't abandon a homegirl. Yeah. So then we went up there and we sang Smash Mouth with her.
We did.
And then it just kind of like the party took off from there. But they played Cotton Eye Joe, and Kelly and I
tore up a dance floor. Like, if you look up tear up the dance floor in the dictionary, we're out there stomping. Stomping a boot. It's not that
doing
casual.
A little two-step. We
were moving so quickly, we created a dust cloud.
I created a dust cloud. I was sweating so hard. All my layers came off. And then, plot twist, they played Cotton Eye Joe, long song. And then they played a remix Cotton Eye Joe, an even longer song. So I think we danced.
And then they had lights and they put a spotlight on us.
And I think we danced to Cotton Eye Joe for like 8 minutes straight.
Yeah.
That was the most intense HIIT workout I've had.
Yes, I was legit.
Like, I couldn't breathe.
And then we have a dust cloud around us as well, so we're just inhaling dust.
But then one of the guys came up and he was like, low-key, that was legit. Really appreciate you guys.
The guy putting it on. He was like, thanks, you guys like actually started the dance floor. We're like, I know, it's a usual thing for us.
Per usual, if you want to get your dance party started, call the MCREY sisters.
Yeah.
We'll charge you a
small fee. But
that's
what I'm saying, is just like, it doesn't matter that we're not 10 out of 10 dancers, but we are 10 out of 10 dancers. You know what I mean?
I'm a 10 out of a 10 good time, I'll tell you what.
And like, that's enough to attract people of that similar energy. And it just feels good to like be you, and you will attract people that are just into that. But then it's about like, okay, you do yourself, you vibe in your own energy, you see someone that is attracted to your energy, that's when you make your move. Like, I guess it's not going in the bar, because I think if you put off that energy, you're like, okay, I'm going to talk to a guy tonight. Like, I'm going to hit on someone. And so you're in there just, like, searching.
Definitely comes off, like, desperate. Like, you give off a desperate energy.
Or you give off just, like,
I'm trying too hard.
Like
ingenuine, like.
You're kind of giving off, like, a hunting vibe. Like,
always watching.
Always watching.
And people can very much, like, whether you think you are or not, and this is coming from someone who reads people's energies very well and very quickly, whether you think you're giving off that vibe or not, you are. And I can feel it. I'm like, oh girl, please let me help you. Like, and not in a mean way. Like, I'm like, I just like, you are giving off hunting vibes, and like for some guys who are like literally just trying to go home and have fun for a night, like it'll work, but to actually,
and then you might also attract the wrong person. So then you're attracting someone else who's on those vibes, and then you hit on them and go on a date and you're like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? It's like, I think you just have to lean into like what do I like to do, what I want my partner to be doing, like what do I think is attractive, go do that thing. You're like, wow, I love a partner that would play tennis with me, go play tennis. Like, or if you even want like a different activity that you haven't gone, like you're attracted to an activity but you haven't tried it, but you're like, it'd be cool if I had a partner that did that, go do it. Or like, I wish my partner would be the one that's like on the dance floor, get on the dance floor. Like,
you can't wish for a partner who's gonna dance
if you wake
if you're not gonna get on the dance floor.
You gotta like get into those things and just lean into what you want, because
it's also not a magic trick. Like, look, we're not saying that you want someone who dances.
We're still single for a reason.
Well, maybe I need to do some why do I keep attracting koalas?
Well, what's up with that attachment style?
But maybe, I think it's honestly because I have some things that I need to work through. I think I'm so...
Like what?
I think I'm, well, a lot of things, but I think, hear me out. Hear me out.
Hear me out. I'm a person to listen to.
Do you think that maybe I attract so many koalas because I'm kind of anti, like, cuddle? Like, maybe I'm not letting myself be loved, truly, so that my aversion to, like, cuddle and touch and actually accepting love attracts koalas. For anyone who doesn't know, a koala is someone who
squeezes on for dear life,
clings on and doesn't let go.
Oof.
It used to happen a lot worse when I was younger. It's not, honestly, it's not so bad. Like these
koalas,
the past few months, yeah.
I don't know. You've had some situations but oof, dude.
Chill. Yeah, I don't know. So I'd like, but I did, Case, we're talking about this, and I think one thing, if you keep asking, you brought this up and it made me think of it. If you keep saying to yourself, like, why does this keep happening to me? Like, why do I keep attracting this type of person? I think it's really important to take a step back and be like, take ownership. Like, is there something that I'm doing that's causing me to keep attracting the same type of guy? Like, is there something either subconsciously or like physically, emotionally that I'm doing that I continue to put myself in this situation where I'm attracting the same type of guy, the same things keep happening to me? And I think that's honestly one of the most, self-awareness is one of the most important things I think you can learn and accept for your own health, like your own mental and emotional health, but also for your relationships, not just with a partner, but with your family, your friends. Like, self-awareness is huge. Sometimes I actually wish I wasn't so self-aware. Like, I almost feel like I'm like, sometimes we're too, Karen and I laugh about this all the time. I'm like, man, sometimes I'm like so self-aware. I wish I wasn't, because I feel like I'm like constantly reflecting on things, and I'm like, I just want to be ignorant. I just want to be naive and ignorant right now, and I don't want to reflect, but I don't have a choice.
I was just thinking of this recently, because I will overthink things from high school, from like college, like minor situation, or like really small things that other people probably don't think, and I will ruminate on them, like truly. And I'm
saying because same thing, not because I'm like, yes, you do.
Oh, well, we both do. Yeah, no. And so I've been thinking about this very deeply lately, and what I think is so interesting about that is I have spent so much time thinking about my mistakes that I don't think about anyone else's mistakes really in my life. And anyone who has made a mistake around me or that's affected me, I've either like, one, that person's just no longer in my life because we didn't vibe, or I've forgiven them because I love them and like I don't even think about it. And so then I like switched the role, and I was just like, so no one's probably thinking of my mistake. And if they are absorbed by a mistake I made then that's like on them. You know what I mean? So I was like, why am I doing that to myself? And then what I think also what's interesting with that is, you can see this in like movies. Like sometimes you start off not liking a character and you're like, God, why are they such a butthead? And then they start unpacking their past and like why they are the way they are. And you're like, okay, it makes sense now. And like, I kind of like them. I'm actually kind of rooting for them. And I think the same goes in life when we meet people. The more that we try to understand them and like look into their past and why things are the way they are, you're like, oh, I can see now, like, even if maybe we're not meant to be friends, we don't rock that vibe, I can see why they are the way they are and I get it. I know myself better than anyone. I know why I am the way I am. I mean, not everything. I'm still like understanding all my origins, but like I truly, no one knows me better than me, yet I can't understand me. Like I'm still so mean to myself and I'm like, nope, your mistakes are. But like I should be able to forgive mistakes better than anyone because I know why I usually have done them. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And I feel like we do that to our, like we have to be, why are we not the most kind to ourselves if we know the most about ourselves? We know why we do what we do most of the time.
Sorry, I'm a little taken back because this kind of took a right turn from relationships.
Come back.
Like I see where you're getting at from. We were talking about like self-awareness.
Yeah.
I know, but yeah, no. So it was great, and I understand where you're coming from. We all feel it.
Okay, but we can tie it back. That's like
so hit a cul-de-sac.
Hit the cul-de-sac. Hold on, we're coming around the bend. But like I think those things honestly keep us from meeting our people and like from meeting the friends that we're meant to be with. Okay. But we were talking about self-awareness, and I was just
and you were feeling it, and I
because it's been in my brain lately.
I respect it, and
but it's like how can we expect someone to like accept us for who we are, and like how can someone be attracted to our authenticity if we can't like we can't like fully embrace who we are. Like we're still trying to like put on a front sometimes that we're like maybe cooler than we are, or we're putting so much into our appearance we don't even like look like ourselves anymore. Like we're doing all these things because we haven't fully accepted who we are yet, and then we're expecting other people to fix us.
Maybe it's more along the lines of me still, like as much as I have accepted the parts of me that I feel like need to be healed. I don't want to call them flaws, but like the parts of me that I'm not like the biggest fan of, like there are certain characteristics and traits that I'm like not super proud that I do that. I know that I do it. I'm not like stoked about it, but I also know that that's literally just who I am. And I think as much as I acknowledge that it's there, and I think I've done the most work over the past like 6 months, a year, and really accepting like, okay, that is who I am. Like I am loud, I'm opinionated, like that's who I am. And sometimes I say things that like might come off a little strong or hurt someone's feelings, and my intention is never to hurt someone's feelings, but I'm like, that's who I am. Like you ask for my opinion, I'm gonna tell you. You might not like the answer, but also the people around me know, like, hey, if you want an honest opinion, go ask Paige. If you don't want an honest opinion, don't ask Paige.
Yeah. And it's not always fair to take offense against something that's just someone's opinion, or like something that someone else likes to do, and then someone's like, I don't like that you do that. And it's like, that's me though. Okay. That doesn't affect
don't hang out with
your life. Yeah. You're like, that's just my opinion.
So yeah, maybe it's for me, like maybe it is still, as much as I haven't accepted it, or I know I'm not like as in love with it as I could be or should be. And so yeah, maybe it's like a lack of self-love. Like that's an area of me that needs to still be nurtured and tended to and cared for. And in that, like through that journey, as I continue to like heal myself and accept that part of me, I will stop attracting the people who...
Or maybe it's because you do want to be in a relationship. I mean, you're attracting people that like really eagerly also want to, and then they cling on, and you're like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
Like, I want a relationship, but it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, something to think about. But I think it's really important to remember though that you don't have to be fully healed to be in a healthy relationship, to have a partner. Like I think that's something that I've really learned over the past probably like 6 months to a year, is that healing and working on ourselves is a lifelong process. Like you are never going to be 100% healed. There were things that like we've talked about it a couple times through our YouTube, but like there are things from my past relationship, the one from like 4 or 5 years ago, that I thought I was like healed, done, over it, and like things still come up for me that I'm like, holy shit. Like I thought I was, and I'm over the person, I'm over the relationship, like I've worked through all that, but there are certain triggers that come up for me from that relationship still. And I was crying to my best friend that was like my other best friend, that was like, why I thought I was over this, like, why are these things still coming up? And you know, through our conversation, I just learned, like, we're always going to be healing. Things are always going to come up for us. You never know. And it's okay. It's okay if things from a relationship, if you dated someone for 3 months, but you, like, the breakup was really hard, and 10 years later something comes up for you that you're like, oh wow, like, that's coming from that relationship. Like, it's okay. It's totally okay. Going back to, you're always going to be working on yourself. So giving yourself grace. We talked about being kind to yourself, being aware of those triggers and what's coming up for you and what you're working on and what you're trying to heal. And as long as you have self-love and you're aware, then you have a healthy healing process with yourself. Like, you have a healthy relationship with yourself, and then you can open the door to somebody else, to a healthy partnership, as long as they're also doing those things. Because if they're not aware, they're never going to be able to understand where you're at. Like, they're never going. And I would hope, like, when you're in a healthy enough place, like, one thing we were talking about, I have been on a couple dates recently with, like, different guys, and I just realized, I'm like, I think previously, like, younger me, I would have given them a couple more chances. Like, I would have been like, well, maybe they can change, or like, maybe, like, I can help them, like, figure this out. And I just, like, realized, I'm like, this person does not have the ambition and the drive to meet me where I'm at. Like, no matter how much I push them, how much I help them, like, that's not my job. And that's part of what I'm working. That's part of the fixing, and, like, it's not my job to fix other people. But also just realizing, like, they're never going to understand where I'm at. They're never going to understand my passion, my goals, my ambition, my drive, the stress that we're under starting a business. Like, that person will just never get it. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. We're on two different paths. And so I would hope that, you know, as you heal and as you work on yourself and you're putting in that time and energy, when people that maybe you previously would have given the time and energy to, when they come into your life, you immediately see it and you're like, you're great, but no thank you. And through that, you will absolutely meet the right person.
Yeah, like, I hope I never fully come to being, like, I hope life is a learning process. Like, I never want to stop learning. I never want to feel like I've arrived.
Yeah.
We're always going to be progressing. So as Paige was saying, I think it is about just picking up skills, like finding what skills work for you to help work through what you want to work through and, like, heal. And then knowing that you just have to be enough is a word that we love. Like, we are not the best businesswoman in the entire world. We are not, like,
not the best bike riders,
no,
not the best skiers.
I am not the smartest. I'm not the prettiest, but I feel enough.
Speak for yourself.
But,
no, just kidding.
Yeah, but, like, you just have to be enough of something to be able to do it. And I think it comes the same, like, you just have to love yourself enough. Like you said, like, it's hard. Like, we like I said before, we know ourselves better than anyone. We do know all the mistakes we've made. And so that's like a constant process of, like, self-forgiveness. And I think as long as you are healing enough and you're putting in enough work, like, you are likely even more than enough to be right for someone, or to just take on the things you want to take on. Like, you don't have to be perfect or everything. Like, you have to put in the work to be enough of that, and then however much you want to be is up to you. But you don't have to be perfect. That's so true. But I do think you're not going to be in a healthier relationship until you have put in that work and you have reached that level of, okay, I have healed enough to be in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And, like, I think I've seen, even from myself, and more so when I was younger, like, my friends or people I've known get into relationships hoping they will fix them, because love has that power to make you feel like it will cure everything.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. And I think when we think of love, we do think of romantic relationships, but then, not that I'm very old, but I just, you know, I think I've gained enough experience.
Your grandma voice.
My grandma voice. But I've learned that, like, Paige's love has healed me in a lot of ways, and my parents' love, and my best friends, and that's, like, and as I'm getting older, I realize that's more, even though I still want a romantic relationship, I hope that love is no longer this, like, romance book, movie type of love that I used to picture.
It's not something that's gonna like fill the holes inside of me, because that's what we've been taught, right? Like through, sorry I cut you off, but like through books and like highly romanticized books and TV and
a lot of those are also toxic relationships, let's be honest.
Yes.
Like,
but like through all of those, we've been taught from such a young age that love is something that's supposed to like fill a hole inside of you,
and you drop everything for
them, and like it makes you change, it changes your life, and like, and I'm sure I have been in love in a lot of ways, it does change your life and it's great, but I've also been in really unhealthy relationships where that person did fill holes inside it. Like at the time, what I thought.
Did they fill holes? Yes. Yeah, they filled holes.
This is supposed to be a family friendly.
I was repeating what you said. You take it as you like. Upper finger cut. I don't know why I'm really into this chest lately.
Please stop. I've been in those unhealthy relationships where I thought like, this is my other half. This is my better half. This person fills a part of me, a void inside of me. Terrible, because that meant that I was half a person. That meant that in that relationship, I was half a person, that I was not my full self. Mm-hmm. And I think now, being older, having had those experiences, healing myself, like still working through that process, I realized like I am enough. Our favorite. We're just gonna call this episode enough. Do you know enough of the business? Enough. I am enough. You don't know. It could go so many ways. But in realizing that and understanding it, that I am whole, I can continue to live my life as me. I mean, obviously, with the support of my friends, family, like I surround myself with a very good circle of people. But when I look at myself, I am whole and I am enough. And now when I look for partners, I'm not looking for someone to complete me or to fill all of the holes in my life, just some of those. But
looking for someone to add to it.
Like I want my life. This is my life is, we're going up. But I am projecting, I'm going to keep doing my thing. We're going to keep growing. My life's going to be great. I am building the life that I want for myself. And I will not allow someone to take space in that and be a part of that until I am confident that they can enhance that scenario for me. And and also, and obviously I know there are compromises in love. Not everything is perfect. It's like there's still going to be hard times and fights, and I understand all of that. But in the grand scheme of things, until I meet someone who is like, hey, I'm also going up. I also have this vision for my life. Let's do it together. Let's support each other and keep growing. Until that, I don't want it.
Yeah. Because I think love looks less like the storybook as you get older, and it does look more like an enhanced friendship. Like I do think that like true love now as you get older, you're like, I don't need someone to like to fulfill me the way that like the movies and the books tell you as you get older is like going to do. You realize that you do all those things for yourself. You're like, I make myself feel good. Like I have friends and family in my life that fulfill me in that way. So you're kind of just looking for someone to be your best friend in life and like your adventure partner, but you also have
your
like,
biggest supporter, like
like someone. I think it does look almost more like a family member in friendship, but I call it like obviously enhanced because there's things with your partner you don't do with everyone else, like physically, but then also just like that certain emotional
not
support.
in California at least.
Like that emotional support is different, but I do think it looks a lot less like flowers and roses and romantic trips, like which I mean that's still a part of it, but it's such a smaller piece as you get older. You just want to find someone that like vibes with your energy, going back to like the bar thing, someone that will just bust a move with you on the dance floor, sip cocktails with you in the corners, you observe people, and just like whoever matches your vibe makes you feel 100%.
I love where this went.
Yeah, we kind of covered it all.
We covered it all.
Mental health is self-validate. But disclaimer, we are still single, so I can't say that we're masters or what we're doing is working, but...
Speak for yourself.